Welcome back to the Final Corner podcast. We are back with our BTCC Croft review. The touring cars is back from its summer holidays as F1 departs. Tom, Nick joins me as always, and we'll run through all the weekend's action from the Croft circuit. Welcome, guys.
Hello.
Howdy. Looking forward to it.
It was a welcome return, let's just say, for the touring cars over the summer, with F1 being slightly predictable. The off season and then this weekend was slightly less predictable until we got to qualifying, when it was then a Ford 1-2-3, and then you kind of went, oh. So it was still quite a good weekend racing, but tons of news going into it and a lot of drama, pretty much surrounding the Team Hard garage. Whoa, do you guys have a list of all the comings and goings? It was a strange timing. Especially Nick Hamilton was the last one, who was, I think, Friday or Saturday.
Yeah, what was happening with Nick as well? I believe he just made the decision not to take part in the weekend.
He left the circuit apparently due to financial reasons.
See, I didn't get that.
So apparently he went to the circuit and then left. So he was the last one. So, but there's been no more information about it. It was just said that it was financial.
And he's just had that new livery announced as well, wasn't he, with new sponsors?
Yeah, so I did some, not digging, but that was alleged that, at the Goodwood Festival of Speed, he had this new livery with a new sponsor. It was gold and white. I can't remember the sponsor name. Oops. And but then I heard, that was maybe just for Goodwood, which is a bit weird. And then, I don't know. I don't want to speculate too much. Maybe it's all fallen through. I don't know. But I haven't. Is there even an article on the internet about what's happened to him?
Not that I've been able to see.
No. So is it just Tim Harvey stuff in the commentary if you listen to it and stuff like this? I don't know.
Yeah, that and Twitter ones from various motorsport journalists. So
yeah, that's very strange to for that to happen like that and it be not discussed openly. Very strange.
Well, Nick, do you want to run through the full driver shift?
Well, we started off with Will Powell.
Which was weird.
Yes. Dismissed from all team roles. Which just sounds like he's done something wrong in the background. I just found that one very odd.
He fought back, didn't he, saying, I'll buy my time and I'll speak the truth later or something?
Yeah. Yeah, I just didn't quite get that. And was immediately replaced by Jade Edwards, which also I found a bit weird because she didn't really have the budget to stay there in the first place.
But only half a season of budget now.
That's true, actually, yeah. So I guess we'll have to wait and see on that one. And then Daryl DeLeon, however we're going to say it.
Double.
I think, Tom, you're actually speaking about him in our last episode, or one prior to that.
Well, it might have been Nicky, though.
No, it was definitely
Oh, was it?
It was the tyre test.
Yeah, so he was doing the tyre test, wasn't he? Now he's the first Philippine BTCC driver ever.
Yeah.
And in qualifying, he crashed around, but we'll cover that in a bit.
Yeah, so he took Jade's seat at Team Hard. And then the other weird one that I found was Bobby Thompson leaving. But it's just weird the way that was announced. It's like he's leaving, but he managed to meet all of his financial commitments for the season.
Yeah.
Then why is he leaving?
It all seems to be crumbling. Well, you never know behind the scenes, it might not be. Because you've got it noted down here as well, and I was going to mention it, that Barry Plowman had been working for Hard, and now he's at One Motorsport. So it's both Edwards and Plowman moving to One.
Yeah.
And people leaving Hard, and some new people joining.
Yeah. And I believe Plowman was meant to start the season at One Motorsport anyway, when they got the Civics. But, yeah. No one seems to know what's happening there.
Kevin Berry left earlier in the year as well on the engineering side. So it's just Dan Lloyd left. No, I'm kidding. Obviously, there's Dexter Patterson and Rutel.
And who's the driver they brought in to replace Bobby Thompson?
Greasy!
That's the one.
Yeah, it's Michael Crease. The last time we saw him, Jade Edwards put him on his roof. So, it's nice to see him the right way up. So he's been away. Was he doing? Was it UK? Oh my, that's terrible. UK. What's it called? TCR UK.
Oh, was he?
I
I don't think he was.
Was that
I
what he was
haven't.
doing?
I thought he was in GT, but I haven't really been
Was he
following
in
it
GT?
at all.
I'm not sure what he was doing this year. There was definitely a
No.
period where he did Porsches, didn't he?
Mhm.
Oh, this is bad. Can we cut this all out?
No, this
No.
is the best parts.
Ah.
He's not been here, so let's just leave it.
I've just googled Creasy BTCC as opposed to Crease as well because it's just on my mind. I did see him sniffing around the BTCC tent at Goodwood and didn't think of anything of it. Weirdly, I didn't speak to him. So maybe there was something going on there. You never know. Anyway, on the BTCC website, they don't have a picture of him now. They've got a shadow, but you'd think they'd have an old one. I suppose it'd be in the old team gear, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's the same thing for Jade Edwards. I noticed when I
Yeah,
was
it's gotta
putting
be
my
gear
camera
related.
cars thing together. Yeah, he was doing GT4.
I love his Twitter bio. He's quite honest, you know. It's British amateur racing driver. I don't know if that's ironic or not being updated, but it's definitely a bit more than that. But to be clear on the hard exodus, I think Matt Neal's still helping out in some form there as well, right? Creasy was tweeting about it.
He's driver coach.
Yeah. There's a lot of drivers to coach there.
Yes. And they keep changing.
Yes, on the Jade Edwards one, I think that actually is it's probably a better move for her. It's probably an upgrade. She's gone back to the team she was in.
100%.
Slightly different car, but she's back in the Civics, and well, she's got a car that's not held together with sticky tape and rubber bands, but it seems of it.
Yeah,
So
I fully agree with that.
She's gotten a nice upgrade.
But it didn't quite go to plan initially. By race 3, it seemed like a good switch. But at first, if you're making that move, you've got to beat your old contemporaries, and she didn't quite initially. But there was all sorts of reasons for that in qualifying. I think they had an issue as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
Creasy, just looking here, was racing the GT4 class of British GT in a Ginetta, I believe.
So it was all go over the past 2-3 weeks, essentially, in the touring cars, even though everyone was supposed to be on holiday. So we're back with Croft, straight into qualifying, and it was at the previous round, it seemed like other teams were kind of closing back up. The BMWs had got their boosts and everything, and it was all getting a bit more jumbled. And then we get a Ford Focus 1, 2, 3 with Camish, Robottom, and Sutton in qualifying. The fourth Focus was Sam Osborne down in 16th, but to have the top three, we are top 3 leading drivers is it's pretty impressive. It just didn't at this point look very good for the championship, but that developed throughout the weekend. Our boy Doble, he managed to finish 15th, which is good, and poor old Nick Halstead was still last.
Had a spin.
Yeah.
I don't know if that affected his ability to continue in the session. I'm not sure. I think Jade Edwards. Did you pick up on what the issue might have been, Nick? She was in the pit lane quite a while of the session, I thought.
Oh yes, no, I didn't get to watch qualifying, unfortunately.
Okay, so I don't think she had a full session to set that time. Perhaps not representative. I have seen that the team has got a penalty. For engine swap.
Engine change.
Yeah, so there might be something going on there.
They also got a fine, which is very strangely worded for a Motorsport UK regulation infringement.
Motorsport UK regulation infringement, as opposed to a TOCA regulation infringement.
Yeah. But £2,500 fine.
Not insignificant.
And it goes to caviar from hospitality this week.
Yeah.
That's the cost of a Red Bull sandwich. And De Leon, he crashed, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah.
Significant damage.
Give him a bit of a slack, as it's his first ever qualifying.
Yeah, was it through Barcroft, I suppose, or Jim Clark? He got out of shape and into Barcroft. It just reminded me of that awful incident from 2017, was it? That was in the rain. But
yeah,
it was a fair thud, but I don't know what his front wheel drive experience is. Yeah, wasn't last despite that.
I have to say though that the Focuses, although the Napa cars are clearly the best, they do have 3 very good qualifying drivers.
Yeah,
which does help a lot.
Yeah, I mean, if the car was mega incredible, wouldn't Osborne be fourth?
Exactly. I mean, he was still, 8, 9 tenths off of Ash Sutton.
This is where Sutton has a huge advantage, though.
Yeah.
As he's got teammates, whereas Ingram has Tom Chilton, who's easily half a second off the pace.
Yeah. Ronan Pearson, who's still a rookie and doing okay, but he's still a bit further back. And then someone else near the back.
And then Turkington and Hill are basically the same speed and different sponsors and fight each other.
Yes.
You know, if they were both under the BMW M Sport umbrella without the laser tools backing, would they help each other out a bit more? Oh, I'm not sure they would, but
probably not, to be fair.
There'd be a greater chance of it happening.
I think it's just the way the season's gone, though, because if the focus is much closer in the championship, there wouldn't be quite as much cooperation going on.
That's true.
Yeah. Like if Sutton had went off from race 1 and you saw Camish winning 2 races here, he would suddenly have climbed back up and totally changed the championship. But
yeah.
It doesn't help
to spoil it, but not to be.
Yeah, it doesn't help that like Morgan qualifies 14th and Jelly 9th in the BMWs.
Yeah, I think Morgan's been very disappointing this year, to be honest.
I had that down in my notes to discuss. He seems to be getting worse results. Maybe not. We'll have to look it up and compare and contrast. But the Sicily BMW in that environment seemed to be beneficial for Morgan than the WSR one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would expect him to be at least on Jelly's pace.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, Jelly's. I'd give the pace to Jelly. Although they both get involved in strange incidents, don't they?
Yeah,
always mid-pack stuff. And speaking of disappointment, I thought the Toyotas were very disappointing this round. Top one is 12th on the grid.
Yeah, that car.
I
don't know if it's just because I like the Toyotas. I just expected to be quick, and it's not really. I mean, Rory Butcher in 18th. Yeah. A year ago, he'd be fighting for podiums.
Yeah.
And he's nowhere.
A change of engineering staff there as well, behind the scenes, I believe. But they had a tumultuous weekend, didn't they? As we could touch upon a lot of unfortunate bits. And one thing I would say about qualifying as well, which not really touched upon, but track limits. I think everybody got a track time deleted at some point. So it could have been one of those hard luck stories where the good lap was deleted, but we're not too sure.
What did race 1 on Sunday morning then? It was one of the Fords on pole. It was Camish, wasn't it?
Yep.
Camish from Robot and from Sutton. They all get away well, and they're gone. And that's the last we see of them, really.
Pretty much.
For a while. Sutton gets second from Robot, the swap positions at the end, but they're line astern, essentially. Ingram gets a slow start, loses a couple of positions. Hill then gets past Colin Turkington for the Jim Clark S's on the outside of the first part for the inside of the second, which was very brave and clean.
Lovely move.
It was the cleanest move through there all weekend. You would expect from Turkington, he knows when not to fight things. That was a really nice move, but then he loses in our position to Ingram, I think, in the second lap or so for 6th position. Highlight of this race for me, though, was, especially the first half, was the most Aidan Moffat defence you've ever seen Aidan Moffat do. Because he is on the hard tyres.
Yes.
And at one point he's coming down the start-finish straight. He's got a massive gap in front of him, but then he's got 14 cars on a line behind him. And he was not moving off the inside of any corner. It was brilliant.
It was great. Fair play. We joke about the Aidan Moffat line. the shortest route around the track is like the inside line all the way around. But but the part where it unravelled later on, we didn't really get to see. We just saw the end of it, right? But all the way to was it penultimate lap? He was in 9th, which would have been incredible on the hard tyres, and would have set him up really nicely for the rest of the weekend. Well, day.
Yeah, and it would have got him away from Aaron Taylor Smith.
Yeah.
Speaking of him, he puts a nice move on Ricky Collard at Sunny Inn, and then we see Crusoe with a quick fit barrier or quick fit banner in front of him. Crusoe.
He did well to survive the race, I believe. I think he finished, didn't he?
I think so.
It
Yeah.
had still had a small bit of banner left in the front, but it must have. It all seemingly fell off, and then the next lap when some people drove over it, I think it was like, oh, what's the debris? But I think it was just Creasy's quick fit banner.
You mentioned in the last few episodes that you thought Aaron Taylor Smith was back. And you kind of saw it in this race.
He qualified in the top 10.
Yeah.
Yep.
No mean feat. But he also shut the door on someone, I felt. Well, it's written down here as Osborne gets past ATS with a robust pass. But I felt that the move was on, and Taylor Smith turns in about a county too early.
Yeah, same. Because the first viewing of it, it's just like, oh, Osborne's forced his way through there.
Yeah.
And then you see the replay and it's like, well, no, actually, he's gone for a gap that
was there.
Taylor Smith has decided doesn't want to exist anymore.
I thought it was a bit desperate, that.
Yeah.
I was going to say he started his race off and the weekend off quite well, but then his driving standards went completely out the window the full weekend.
It was just a bit desperate, wasn't it?
Yeah.
There's nothing like, he's rammed someone fully off from behind or anything, but yeah, just pinching people and nudging and stuff. Bit weird.
There's some nice fight with Aaron Moffat, Dan Lloyd for a few laps. And then off camera we see that Lloyd loses a bunch of positions after previous replay that we see. It looks like he almost gets past Aaron. We then get a replay and there's contact with Ronan Pearson. I see that you've got that Pearson biffs Lloyd, but I actually thought that Lloyd just turned across him trying to go for the switchback on Moffat.
Quite possibly. I was rushing through the race.
I'm with you on that one, Colin. I mean, I know sunny out, you have to be fully alongside. But there's a nose there, and it could have been avoided, or at least front of Hyundai to door, but it was like wheel on wheel. I think. I think
Pearson out.
Yeah, and I think also just to rewind a little bit, he tries to do. He sends it Lloyd on Moffat Tower, and then Moffat gets the cut back up to Jim Clark, and it cuts away. Then when we see this replay, Lloyd's already lost a couple of positions. So what I think is they might have gone, let's add some storytelling in here, like reading a book, where I think Lloyd's tried to go around the side by side of Jim Clark and has been held out to dry through the right. Because then I think Moffat and two others go through, and then Pearson has the incident. So I think he's dropped back a bit anyway, which we didn't see. And then, obviously that compromises Lloyd further and ruins Pearson's race because he goes off at Clovo, doesn't he, I think?
He runs wide at turn one.
But that battle pack
through the gravel and then
that was messy. That pack there was it Toyotas and Astras and the second and third Hyundais and Hondas and the best hard.
Pretty much every team on the grid, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, I suppose Osborne was in the mix, wasn't he, as well there?
Suppose that's, if you want to be kind, that's the benefit of one guy going in the hard tires when everyone else isn't, because it just it causes chaos.
Yeah, true. Those Astras, though, every time I see a Power Max Astra, you know there's going to be a scrape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're always in the side of someone.
There's a James Acaster book called Classic Scrapes, and if anyone was to write a book about Power Max racing, that would be the title.
The front cover would be Jason Plato on, was it Tom Ingram a few years ago?
Ooh. What track was that?
Oh, it was... You spoke about it in the last episode. What was it again?
The one I always think of is Sutton versus Plato at Snetterton.
Sutton. It was
yeah,
Sutton,
that's the one. That's the last time I got angry at British Touring Cars. Stood up on my seat and was like, whoa!
Right, Nick, I'll let you do the next note.
Oh, what, Doble?
Double it.
Yeah, that was nice, I thought. He had a few nice little bits as well. I saw earlier on he had Chilton got past him on the outside, but he just lunged back down the inside to keep position at turn one, which I like to see.
He had the onboard camera, didn't he, there? Or bonnet camera, whatever,
But yeah, he got a lovely little dive on Rory Butcher. What's it, into Sunny Inn, I believe. Although Butcher
Richard-
very shortly then disappeared.
Yeah, pulled into the pits, so there must have been contact somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm. Because Chilton and Morgan got straight through as well when you looked at the tree. Wasn't seen on track. Oh, sorry, on TV. It was obviously on track. Yeah, it's nice to see. He's getting his elbows out more and more.
We should also mention Adam Morgan. We don't know what happened, but he had a spin at a very strange, unorthodox place.
Yeah.
Took out a tyre bale. A bit strange.
Yeah, the angle was really weird because it didn't show any other cars around him, but I can't see how else he ended up there.
Yeah, it could be a wheel in the gravel on the left at the exit of turn 1.
Mm.
Again, pure speculation. We'll never know.
So that's probably it, really, for race 1. You say Moffat almost held out. Sutton got
Yeah.
roll bottom at the end and a coordinated move. And yeah, that's it. 1, 2, 3 for the focuses. Can't remember the last time there was a 1, 2, 3 for the one team. I'm looking at their encyclopedia here.
I want to say it's a Team Halfords. Is what I want to say. But from a long time ago.
I was thinking, would it possibly even be the Passats? But then you had Turkington and Plato who were quick,
actually,
and then you had
Taylor
the
Smith.
other ones who weren't that quick.
Yeah, because Taylor Smith won a few races with them, didn't he? I think he won 4.
Yeah. If you're asking for the same team, I'm not sure. I've no idea. Same car manufacturer, I would guess a Honda. I guess. Or BMWs. It'd be BMWs. Right. It'd be Turkington Hill.
Potentially, yeah.
Someone else. Yeah.
You could have had the.
It might have been last season.
Pretzers.
I think last season did the BSR do something like that?
Possibly. I should have looked up before I asked the question.
Yeah, I think so.
The Pretzers were coming into my head there, but then I remember that Jason Plato's car was squint the full year, so
allegedly
he wasn't really competing.
And Warren Scott was driving one.
Yes, that's definite no. So yeah, that'll do it for race 1. Ash Sutton also took the fastest lap. Nick?
Yeah, I was curious. Mikey, our man, has got another couple of points on the board with a 14th place finish.
What's this underneath reference?
Oh, it was in the post-race interview where they always interview the top 3. He said it's nice to be back because I was getting comments after Alton Park that I'm the new Andy Neat. It just made me laugh.
No one can replace Andy Neat. There is only one.
There is.
Oh dear. So race 2 then, and Ash Sutton immediately takes the lead from Camish going into turn 1, and that's it for the first 2 Fords. They are not seen again. Rowbottom's under a wee bit of pressure though during this race, but at turn 1 we get Aaron Taylor-Smith almost trying to kill Aidan Moffat.
Yeah.
He moves across him, coming down at turn 1, which sends Moffat off into the inside grass. Comes flying across the track, just missing Taylor-Smith into the gravel, but manages to continue. But that was so close to another pile up at turn 1.
And I have to assume he didn't know he was there.
Yeah.
Because if he did, that is just, that's ban him.
Well, he got a 3-place grid penalty for that.
Yeah.
It's a full shoulder badge, isn't it?
Yeah, I just assumed he was trying to put in front of him, but was nowhere near. Because it was such a violent movement to the side.
Well, we have to give the benefit of doubt, but it was an awful move.
Yeah.
Just incredibly fortunate that there wasn't a massive pile up there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's lucky. They're both lucky, especially Moffat being able to continue. It can easily been the end of his week. Cook and Hill having a fight on the first lap. They're side by side through the S's, and there's a touch on the rear end of Cook, which almost spins him off in the exit, but he holds it really, really well. In front of those, you've got Ingram hassling in the back of Rowbottom, which continues pretty much for the full race. Ingram gets alongside a couple of times, but can never make the move.
Yeah, it's a very good defence from Rowbottom.
And that's the benefit Ash Sutton has, because if Ingram had got through there, he'd still have to get past Camish as well.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got a 2-car buffer in this race, essentially.
Oh, we should mention, I think at the end of the last race, it looked like Sutton and Rowbottom might have switched positions, but it was off camera.
Yeah, it was on camera.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
It was definitely orchestrated.
Yeah.
Even though Rowbottom tried to say it wasn't, because he had his indicators on. So
I didn't spot that. I just I noticed
it was in the background.
Ah.
It wasn't the main focus of the shot on telly, but it was there.
Right, good. And also, just hats off for Cook for defending for the full race. Taking lessons from Adam Moffat.
Lap 4, 5, Ingram has a couple of moves, doesn't really get it. Then we get a kind of a repeat move that happens throughout the race where Sam Osborne straight lines the chicane and keeps a position.
Oh.
I hate it.
I hate it.
Oh.
Rory Butcher's attempting a move, but I say he's attempting a move. There's about a car's width in between the two, so it's not like they're side by side.
Yeah.
And Osborne just straight lines the chicane and holds him off for at least another lap or so.
Wasn't there a move with a Astra as well?
Yes, that's a little bit later on.
Oh, sorry. Shall I have a rant now or later on?
Oh, no, go for it.
Which Astra was it?
The same thing. Watson.
Yeah. If in hindsight, it's a wonderful thing. If I were Watson, I suppose you wouldn't have known. But the move now that we know for next year is if you are alongside Osborne there, and you're on the inside, and the corner is yours, straight line the chicane yourself as well.
Yeah.
Because they're both straight line the chicane, and that's the only way you can overtake him there. You have to if they're going to play with these things where that's an okay move. Every time someone goes alongside Osborne, straight line the chicane, force him off left. That's the only way, because there's one with Watson, and it's like 4 or 5 car lengths he gains out of it. It's not just defend, and it's not defending. He has lost the position, and Watson actually sort of biffs him wide a bit to make the point that this is my corner. And then
it's
shambolic.
Yeah, I've no objection to people missing that chicane
same.
To avoid the tyres or whatever. But
you've pulled back in line.
Admit you've lost the place.
Yeah.
But yeah.
However, having said that, if there's no action on that at all, then everyone should just straight line chicane every lap.
Yeah, it was officially he was given a one-place grid drop, but on the results he was swapped. So I don't know if that's actually what he was given. I think they swapped the positions because he did finish behind him.
I see. Yeah, Watson is on the BTC's website ahead of Osborne there, and a grid drop.
He did Osborne eventually with some positions, but
maybe you have to switch the position, but then still do a grid drop as well.
Possibly.
Yeah. To make
I don't know why they can't put something there in between that chicane.
Well, it's probably a safety thing.
I don't mean anything that a wall would.
Oh nice, yeah, but like a little route you have to drive around.
Yeah,
like a long.
Like how you have to go like to the left of the bollards and things in some F1 corners and things like that.
Yeah.
Something that would make you lose time.
Tell you one thing that doesn't go across those lines. If you're driving the official BTCC content in R Factor 2, the tyre stacks have to be solid. And if you're side by side with the AI or they're side by side with each other, they don't know how to skip the chicane. And it's a big pile up.
Very good. Very good. I mean, you could. No, I'm not going to suggest sausage curbs. I'm not.
No, come on.
Never.
Come on,
never,
wash
never,
your mouth
never,
out.
Never. Our previous mascot, George Gamble, gets taken out by Aidan Moffat. Well, there's contact and then he retires. He's out of this race. Lap 10, and Jake Hill is closing back in on Josh Cook. He gets right up the back end of him through turn 1, takes a slightly different line, hits a bit of the gravel on the outside, and then as he goes through turn 2, he spins. And he goes down 5 positions at that point. And, kills his title. And he hopes he had a title, I think, with that one move.
Well, I think it was not good for him, but it's good to see from my point of view because I do believe they've changed that corner.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure the gravel never used to come that close to the track because it was one of those things I always used to say. Remember they had the flappy bollard and they always used to cut across it?
Yes, I think you're right. Yeah. But also they've implemented...
I'm sure they've moved the gravel closer.
Stricter track limits there as well. That's one of the corners monitored. Yeah, so you're right. So it is a good thing. I'm with you.
Not that he spun lost places, but I think it's good that people are getting punished for mistakes rather than just running wide.
No, but
keeping it pinned.
I'm also with Colin. I think that's the wind out of Hill's sails for another year.
Yeah.
Especially with what happened in race 3.
Barring some kind of miracle.
Yeah, which is not going to happen. I mean, Knockhill, here's the thing. Croft should have been normally a rear-wheel drive circuit, right? And it isn't anymore.
Yeah, I thought that. The king of Croft, as they always used to say.
Yeah, absolutely. So... Yeah, could the domination of the front-wheel drive cars now... It's fun. It's so funny. It's just like a decade of everyone moaning about rear-wheel drive cars, and then here comes the Focus proving that you can do it. It's like, well, there you go. You were all moaning and you didn't get your engineering right. And they're great drivers.
Yep.
Yeah, but, you know.
Hashtag bring back ballast.
Hashtag bring back ballast.
I'm just watching some highlights from last year's race. I've definitely changed turn 1. You're right.
Oh, good spot. Hill's
well noticed.
41 points behind, so it's not over yet. If he's 41 points after Knockhill, it's tricky.
Are you making the BTCC ITV graphics for the final round saying there's 10 drivers still in it? Only 84 points behind.
Every year I say this. If there's 3 rounds left and you're within 40 points, they're the actual contenders. So he's just on the cusp with the 4th from the end round left. So he has to outscore Sutton next round, I think.
Or at least be up on the podiums.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, not kill. I might nick over. I wasn't going to. I'm intrigued. Now I can drive again.
If I had a working combustion car, I'd be there, I think.
Oh no, is the Clio still dead?
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Oh, just bring the electric one. We have electricity in Scotland now.
No, I've just got too many miles on that one. I'm worried about that. Yeah, and it's got service due. So anyway, this is on to far more interesting topics than Tom's failing car collection.
Yes, race 2 was won by Sutton, who took the fastest lap as well. Butcher did manage to get in the points, but had a false start penalty, which dropped him out of it. Ronan Pearson had another mechanical issue, which ruined his weekend. Every race, I think he had the problem. And Dan Lloyd managed to get his Cupra up to 9th again.
I thought
all the other ones were struggling.
I thought Dan Lloyd was superb this weekend, except which we'll come to in a bit.
Yes.
But to be that far ahead of the other Cupras and to be battling up there, some people might say the term racy, but every time someone mentions that on the TV, Lisa loses her mind. Rightly so, because it's a stupid expression. It's not as bad as Ingram's pointsy, but anyway. But I felt like he was unfortunate in race 1, or maybe he should have given the position back to Moffat and got embroiled and everything. But he still, what I liked about that was, despite that, he fought back a few more positions before the end. Yeah. It was clearly there was that car and setup and him as a driver with this track had some latent pace. And then in race 2, that was backed up. You know, he's right in there and unfortunate not to be in pole position with the reverse grid draw, I thought. Well, same for everybody who wasn't 6th, but you know what I
mean. You've kind of got like a top 6 or 7. That are always going to be at the top if everyone finishes. But he's right up there for the people that are behind it.
Yeah, like he's ahead of the Astras and the Toyotas and all but one Hyundai. So that's a great performance. But it's just, you just start to think, if he'd have been on the front row in race 3, something could have happened there, I thought. Yeah. Wasn't to be, though.
No. A wee shout out to Andrew Watson. He obviously had that incredible start to the season. Kind of faded for a while, but he's back in the points again. I think he's another one to watch if he's still around for next year.
Yes, I do think you need a year or two to adjust to these cars, even if you're the best of the best.
Yeah, will they get that as well?
Yeah, you're never sure, are you?
Because who was in the Astra last year and didn't get a second chance? I'm saying that because I couldn't actually remember. Thank you. But yeah, he fully deserved another season.
Yes, I agree. But it's not how it works in BTCC. If the commercials don't stack up, and it's just, which is fine, but it's just more. I just worry for next year a little bit because of the current economic scenario we're up against.
Yeah, him and Mikey Doble are having a nice battle as well between them. They're quite closely matched, apart from that first race of the season.
Yeah, that's true.
He was a couple of places ahead of him this time, with Doble just finishing outside the points in 16th.
One thing I might mention here is, before we go do race 3, is the whole track limits thing again. It also keenly noted in qualifying. Didn't really come up in the race, although it was mentioned in commentary that there were some warnings going on. But then, you have that whole thing, and then just the fact that you can basically cut Barcroft like a rally stage.
Yeah.
It just seems like completely out of whack and hypocritical and not well thought through. I was listening to a podcast, and I'm not going to name them today. One I really enjoy that comes out weekly about cars. One of them is a former or current Top Gear presenter. And
nobody's getting a free plug on this show.
No. Well, I'm going to say something a bit. I don't want to. But anyway, one of the guests sits on the board at Motorsport UK, and they were talking about track limits a few weeks ago. And they were talking about, what they should do is put these sensors on and cameras. And I'm thinking, what? Literally what? We literally had that in British touring cars. And these Motorsport UK rules that are coming in early are not fit for purpose. So I don't know what's going on there. If the communication's not got around within the organisation, or they're part-time or not involved in that.
Yeah.
Ugh. But it was just awful to listen to and be like, man, the hypocrisy. Anyway.
Yeah, and who's going to pay for all that?
Well, there's that as well, yeah. But
yeah, they've already paid for it once in a lot of these tracks.
Yeah, the pressure sensor brands is not used. Am I correct at the minute?
Yeah, they're still there, but they're irrelevant now because they're in the wrong place.
I think there's a camera at Donington that might be still used. I could be wrong there.
It's the pressure pads, because now that they're outside the curbs, and now the way they've done it, it doesn't. They'd have to be inside the curbs, so they can't do that.
Daft.
It's any part of a wheel over the line now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Apart from Barcroft, where it's 4 wheels off the grass.
Yeah, but it's on the outside of corners.
Yeah, but it still saves me.
I know, I agree.
They're cutting that corner because it's quicker. There we go.
Yeah,
exactly. I know we're incredibly hypocritical about this because we're complaining about the F1 track limits a few weeks ago.
Aye.
And then earlier in the season, I did an in-race count of track limit violations because I was annoyed it was so inconsistent. But we just want a nice rule that we can see enforced. Because Tim Harvey at one point even said during the race, I am not looking at that screen.
Yeah.
Oh, well, a classic perler from Tim Harvey this weekend was De Leon crashed in qualifying, right? And the car's on the truck, and there's because you can't see the damage for ages until it's on the truck, and it goes round in front of the camera because of the angle of the incident. And Harvey went, "Oh well, Team Hard are the most experienced team on the grid in terms of fixing cars. They'll get that sorted soon." I think he was trying to be polite, but it's, if you take that out of context, it's hilarious.
Yeah. Oh dear. Yes, right. Race 3. Finish off the weekend. There was some dramas in some of the support races, and the start finish straight was covered in oil, which they spent a little while, I think, putting is it cement dust to put down?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that on TV. Them putting cement.
Some of the cars didn't start in their grid, did they? In their box.
Weird, didn't it?
Yeah. Isn't that a penalty?
Technically.
Well, yeah. So it was number 6 that was drawn out, which was Colin Turkington starting on pole. Race 3, so there was chaos at turn 1. Dan Lloyd seems to lose it on his own and spears off into the barrier. There's a bit of contact, I think, with a BMW and one of the Focuses through the middle of the corner. Mm-hmm. And then on the exit, Ash Sutton just seems to kind of drive into the back right wheel of Stephen Jelly. And Sutton's out. Almost perfect weekend, but he ends up taking himself or getting involved in an incident which ends his race 3. And his grip on the title suddenly got a bit less secure.
Yeah, the Dan Lloyd one, when I watched it, I was like, I can't believe Hill has knocked him out the race. And then I watched the replay and said, he was nowhere near him.
It was all on his own, unfortunately, whether that was a bit of gravel on the circuit, a bounce on the curb, like or cold tyres. And then maybe an overcorrection. I don't know. We can't do it, can we? It was just... I was watching it going, oh, Dan, no. Oh.
Yeah.
No. It could have been a podium and it was the wall. And 2 wheels ripped off. Very unfortunate. I just worry as well for the team if they've got challenges behind the scenes. That's another bill.
Yeah, and Dan, as we know, did a lot of fundraising last year just to get through that season. So and there was talk at that point of pulling sponsorships forward and everything. So
and you'd think, just when he's showing, like we were saying earlier about how quick he's been and how good he's been earlier in the day. It's just not the just rewards there, unfortunately. I want to mention the grid draw because Sutton's won another race and he pulls out the best possible number for him, and even Steve Ryder had nothing to say about it. He went, oh, that's 6. You happy? I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but it was definitely like, how's he going to spin that? It's maybe he's so professional you can't tell that, because he is extremely professional, that he was maybe slightly disappointed, but I don't want to put opinions into his brain. Don't know where I'm going with that, but you know what I mean.
Yes, well, it didn't last long for Ash. He crawled his way around and didn't even make it into the pit lane at the end of that one.
Which elongated the safety car, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yep. So there's a safety car at this point. Before the safety car comes out, Ingram and Cook are side by side for the S's. Ingram gets ahead. Safety car boards come out, and apparently there's a new safety car system when there's an instantaneous light in the cockpit.
Which is brilliant.
Which Dan Rowbottom ignored and then overtook Josh Cook.
I was going to say the same. In fact, I even thought, oh man, this might not be policed here, so I took a picture of the TV.
Yeah.
Just so I can reference that. But it was switched over.
Did swap positions.
Sorry, we all.
I didn't see it happen, but I did see it.
Yeah, they did swap back during the race. But what was it, the last round where it was just chaos? Because they're all racing the board.
Yeah, Alton Park, wasn't it? Yeah.
If this is a fix after that, then very well done for jumping on it quickly. If this is something that's been in the works as well, then it's definitely needed.
I hate to be that person. We've mentioned this quite a few times with some of the I was going to say sloppy, but it's not necessarily sloppy, just haphazard nature. Sometimes, occasionally, perhaps, in my opinion, maybe, of the safety car procedures, where we have cars racing and some cars slowing down. What the heck? But yeah, the last round, wasn't it, where the safety car was called, people started slowing down, but then they realised they hadn't gone past the board, and so they started racing again, and then they had to stop again. It could have been a big accident, wasn't. So I'm fantastic. I hate that word, I use it too often. Superlative news that subsystem has been implemented. But whether or not it works in the future is yet to be seen. For now, I thought it was quite positive other than Rowbottom, but it was clear that Rowbottom had a violation and they switched it over somehow. Fantastic. Said it.
I do believe the system was brought in at the beginning of the year. I seem to remember something about it happening where the light inside the car was put at the beginning of the year, but they still ran to the boards. Whereas I think now it is, you're supposed to adhere to that immediately.
Yeah, and I like how at Croft there, I think it was actually a legacy of that incident where they have the big LED SC board. I could see that plain as day. I mean, Rowbottom couldn't, but it was shielded behind the car because he was kind of side by side when it was happening. But
yeah, and it did kind of come on in a braking zone. So
I much prefer the light up LED boards to the wooden boards or whatever they're made of. More of those, please. I know it's expensive, but that would be nice.
So we get to think of 3-lap safety car up to 18 laps of race 3, and at the restart, Tuckett and Ingram set off. Ingram has a little go at the first lap of the restart, but BMW holds him off, and that's it really for the first two in this race. We get Sam Osborne off at Sunny Inn as Jack Butel gives him a nudge. He ends up across the grass and then runs across the circuit, which thankfully everyone avoids him.
Yeah,
very well avoided.
Escape.
2 incidents this weekend where it's been just pure luck.
Yeah.
It did look like, obviously, Patel, what's that about? And
Yeah.
then it looks like Osborne's kept the throttle on, but I don't know if the car then dies, stalls, maybe you have to change down a gear and keep it pinned. But then it just sort of seems to give up with flooring the throttle, and then that pushes him into the middle of the circuit again.
Yeah. Yeah, because like you say, he floored it to catch the slide,
Initially.
didn't he? And then it just, like
It
you
just
say,
sort of
just
died.
then coasted over the track.
Oh, yeah, and that could have been a side impact. That we don't like to see that.
But then get an actual move between the Fords for the first time this weekend. Dan Camish puts a dive on Dan Rowbottom. Manages to make the move going towards, I think it was the S's. Managed to hold off him. He ran a bit wide in the exit and then held them off for, I think that was 4 at that point.
Yeah, but Rowbottom backed out of it on the way up there.
Does he?
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
he
wow.
actually got the dive on him at Tower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's where he did the manoeuvre, but yeah, he carried it through the S's.
But
It did look like a genuine overtake, but it just wasn't particularly well hard fought.
yeah, exactly. As they're going up the S's, Rowbottom taps the brakes a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Aidan Moffat in this race, Final has the benefit of soft tyres when everyone else is on the harder compounds, and he's flying for the first half of the race.
Yeah, to the point where the commentary comes out with the old line, this is a Moffat strategy now. Hard tyre race 1, soft race 3. Is he going to win the race? No.
No, because he burns out his tyres. And he gets, I think, about 7th or so.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's in a fight after that with Rory Butcher for a few laps. I think he gets past Butcher, the Butcher gets past him, and then he gets back through again. So there's a few moves there. There was one at the S's again, side by side, and it's Butcher on the inside, and again, whoever's on the outside just gets run off.
Yeah.
Unless you're 2 BMWs, and then they managed to make that move quite seamlessly. Jack Buttel then gets a bit of karma, I guess, because Taylor Smith knocks him off.
Yeah.
At I think it was the final hairpin, he gets bumped off there. Dillon gets a penalty for having a mechanic on the grid too late, which ruins his chances, I think, of getting any points in his debut weekend.
Yeah, he was running very well as well in that race. I know other people were falling off the track, but he was up to 12th when he got his penalty.
Didn't realise that. That's a shame.
Yeah. I know, he was going up, and that would have been fully praised for him.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually saw it pre-race. They actually showed it on TV, the mechanic opening his door and speaking to him.
Oh.
Which is probably how he got caught.
Mm.
I'm surprised that Chilton's car, he parked outside the road, and it was just, we'll leave it there.
Yeah.
Right on the Osborne line.
Yeah, exactly what I thought.
If Osborne could have taken his normal line there, he would have clearly got points.
Mm-hmm.
So, I thought that was strange that he was just left, but they must have deemed it was out the firing line. What else happened race 3? Oh, there was a big dive on a cruiser at the hairpin by Gamble, which kind of caught him napping, I thought, which was nice. And then we get Jake Hill doing another Jake Hill.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
He closes right up onto the back of Rowbottom.
Cook?
Yes,
was
it was
Oh no, Rowbottom.
It was Rowbottom because Camus was ahead at this point. It was Rowbottom. A couple laps to go. He gets a wheel in the grass and spins. Drops from I think 5th or 6th. It was in the fight for 5th and 6th for Rowbottom, and I think drops down to 8th at that point with another half spin. Which 2 mistakes in 2 races. That's a decent, and he's lost 3 positions at this go. First race, I think it was 5, so he's lost 8 positions with those 2 mistakes.
I mean, different corners, but same mistake in both of dipping your rear tyre off the track and losing it.
You saw him on the onboard, he had a wobble mid-corner as he was going in there. Obviously just compromised his exit where he clipped outside grass, but yeah, very poor.
Yeah. One thing I took away from that was that Napa Racing Ford. It's very bouncy and unruly through Sunny Inn.
Mm.
And I think that almost took Hill unawares, the closing speed there. Could be wrong. It seems to be that the B&W was a lot quicker through there and a lot smoother over the bumps.
It was quite a similar thing for Ingram, I think, as well. He had a similar sort of... that was always cocking a wheel through there.
But the other thing I thought, in this battle before Hill has the spin, coming out of the hairpin, the Napa Ford pulls away, and I'm thinking, how is a front-wheel drive car pulling away from a rear-wheel drive car on the exit of a hairpin?
Yeah, I've never seen not the quickest either.
No, and I've never seen anything like that. So whether that is clever mapping or how the torque comes on to manage wheel spin, they've got some funky setting for the diff. Maybe it's a combination of them. I mean, we don't know, and that's why we're not engineers, and that's why we're not working for Napa Racing. But I've just thought it was...
Speak for yourself, sir.
Yeah, well, sorry.
One of us is an engineer.
Sorry. Race engineer. I just think it was stark how the car could pull out of the slow hairpin. The second slowest corner on the BTCC calendar. He says not remembering the first.
I wonder what the...
Alton Park.
Thank you. Yep, that makes more sense.
Yep.
It was, that Ford's incredible.
Yeah. It just seems to be traction at slow speed. Wild.
Won with Colin Tuckington for his...
Oh, King of Croft. But isn't it crazy how Turkington is now having to not rely on, but he builds his weekend to get that reverse grid win 2 weekends in a row. And he's in contention because of like a 4th, a 5th, and a win.
Yeah. Didn't they say this is his first win at Croft in 5 years?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I swear that's what they said after the race, but I can't verify that's true or not because I don't remember, but that's mad. Croft is always a BMW win, essentially.
Yeah.
Just not in the last year or two.
I mean, I think I went to spectate there in 2015, and was it Andy Prio won one and Sam Tordoff won one, and they were both in BMWs. Collard was in the mix. In this current era, that's not the case. Not the case. And like I say, I think the Ford has found something in how it comes out of a corner. But they might be listening and going, "Yo, you're an idiot," and that's fine because I am.
Well,
but shouts out to
the lack of ballast.
Yeah,
I think might make a big difference.
It could be lack of ballast.
Hashtag bring back balance.
Yes, and 2015, Prio won the first race in a BMW, Tordoff the second race in a BMW, and Collard the third race in a BMW. Times have changed. That was a long time ago now. But yeah, Jade Edwards 1 position off a point, so ahead of all remaining hards in that race as well. Oh no, there weren't. There was only one.
And her car didn't 40 bits, as the hards would have.
Well, did she have to
especially her one
pull in that race? Didn't she not take the start for race 1?
Yeah. Don't undo what I just said. I know. But it didn't break down in one race where her hard car probably would have.
Yeah.
So championships, because of Ash Sutton's mistake / race incident with Stephen Jelly, the lead over Ingram is still only 6 points. And Tuckington's now 34 points behind as well. So we've still got a top 2 in the championship.
It's kind of looking like top 2, isn't it?
Yeah. Not Kill. It's always a bit of a unknown in some ways.
Yeah.
So you normally get a strange result in one of the races.
And Sutton always goes well at Knockhill.
Yes, very true. One thing I would like to know that I think is an unknown is are the drivers allowed to cut the chicane curb now?
If they're not, you can add 3 seconds onto the lap time.
Yeah.
What? It's a yes, is it?
Well, yes, because it's on the inside of a corner.
Ah, yeah. All right, 4 wheels off the track there.
But they can't run wide.
Yeah, so that's why Osborne was getting away with it.
So the inside of a corner. Ah, okay, right. So there's no big flash points for track limits, is there? Maybe exit of turn 1.
Yeah, and also running wide when you do cut that corner. If you cut it too heavy, you sort of bounce over the outside, don't you?
That might be monitored. You're right, yeah.
There's gravel on the exit there as well, because that's where I
Yeah.
got hit in the groin with some a few years ago.
Jake Hill struggled last year to bounce over there, I think. Or year before. And was it Halstead who cut the inside of the left, not the right? Oh, no. It was, oh, goodness. Rick Parfitt Jr.
RPJ.
Yeah, and he qualified for Knockhill. And there's a clip of this on YouTube, which is great. Tim Harvey basically can't stop laughing. Because you cut the second part and that flips the car up 2 wheels, right? But he cuts the first bit, then spins off. Brilliant.
Oh, poor Rick.
Yeah.
I saw some of these guys got rained off the other week. Unfortunately, I think he was supposed to perform at Goodwood actually. And there's a day Goodwood got cancelled because of the weather.
It was the winds.
Yeah, doing his I think it's a tribute band he's got. I think they do like rock classics.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Didn't sound too bad when I heard them on YouTube.
Oh right.
No, not too bad. Yeah, I'm not paying to see them, but it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, Google Rick Parfitt Strange Off. That's the one to watch.
So Nick Halstead's got company though. Jade Edwards is now on negative points as well.
Yes.
Engine spot. Nick Halstead's on -6, where Edwards is on -5.
You could do a Nick Hamilton and not
Creasy...
turn up and be on more points.
Exactly. And Creasy got points on his return, which was well done by him.
Yeah, it was actually pretty solid, wasn't he?
Next up is Knockhill in the middle of August. I believe it's the 12th of August? 12th and 13th of August at Knockhill, up in crappy Fife of Scotland. The wrong side of the water. But it's always a fun track to go to. If you're thinking about going to a race, a wee drive up to Knockhill is well worth it. Leave about 4 hours afterwards though to get out.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, steal all the banners like the rest of the Scottish people. What?
Oh God, remember that.
That I say that from experience because that's what I saw.
That is what happened when we were there. And 15 or so.
A long
maybe?
time ago. 16.
Yes, 16. And yeah, we're stealing the Dunlop barriers off the tyre. And everything that was, and even things that weren't nailed down were getting lifted and taken
carrying
off.
a Marshall home. Also, I completely misremembered the Parfitt incident. Sorry, he goes basically completely tries to miss the screen. Bloody hell. Stop talking, move on. Thanks.
Yes. That one had a Blondie tribute band as well playing after the race.
Did it when we were there?
Talk about tribute bands. Yeah. They had them on the inside of the hairpin at the final corner. They had a stage set up and they had a Blondie tribute band. Yeah. Which sounded pretty
during
good.
the race. That would be brilliant.
Exactly. Get Rick booked for next week. Right, any more for you guys on the touring cars?
I think it's time to go, isn't it?
Well, I just wanted to point out that Mr. Doble did get a 12th place in this race.
Ooh.
And got some very good points. And now leads the Jack Sears Trophy.
Oh.
Well done to you, sir. Okay, we'll see you next time. Give our F1 reviews a listen as well. And we'll, because that's on holiday, the Knockhill episode will be our next proper review week. So 12th and 13th of August at Knockhill. We'll be back then. Make sure you subscribe and you'll get the next episode straight when it's released. So thank you guys for your time and hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you then.
See you later.